Jeremiah chapter 23, starting with verse 1, verse 11 and 12, and in verse 33. Woe to the shepherds who are destroying and scattering the sheep of my pasture, declares the Lord. Therefore, this is what the Lord said, the God of Israel says to the shepherds who tend my people, because you have scattered my flock and driven them away and have not bestowed care on them, I will bestow punishment on you for the evil you have done, declares the Lord. I myself will gather the remnant of my flock out of all the countries where I have driven them and will bring them back to their pasture, where they will be fruitful and increase in number. Go down to verse 11 and 12. Both prophet and priest are godless. Even in my temple I find their wickedness, declares the Lord. Therefore their path will become slippery. Let's go down to verse 33. Let's look at verse 32. Indeed, I am against those who prophesy false dreams. They lead my people astray with their reckless lie. Yet I did not send or appoint them. They do not benefit the people in the least, declares the Lord. Verse 33, when these people or prophets or priests ask you, what is the oracle of the Lord? Say to them, what oracle? I will forsake you, declares the Lord. If a prophet or priest or anyone else claims, this is the oracle of the Lord, I will punish that man and his household. This is what each of you keeps saying to his friend or relative. What is the Lord's answer? Or what has the Lord spoken? But you must not mention the oracle of the Lord again, because every man, listen to this, every man's own word becomes his oracle. And so you distort the words of the living God. The Lord Almighty is our God. I want to talk to you today from the subject, the slippery slopes of prophecy. The slippery slope of prophecy. May I submit to you today that it is not easy being a spiritual leader, a pastor, a preacher, or a leader of a congregation. And it does not do justice to the pulpit or to the church when we revere the man or woman of God in a way that we think that they are unreproachable, or when we set them in a place whereby we think that they are beyond error. It is a danger to society and the community when the pew esteems the pulpit in such a way that they look at them as less or as more than human. Because at the end of the day, every pastor, preacher, prophet, evangelist, apostle, whatever your title is, we are human just like everybody else. And it does the community and society a disservice when we revere them in a way that we believe they're beyond mistakes. It is a great challenge, because just like the pastor and the pew, we all are a part of this world. And the same temptations that face the pew faces the pulpit. Whatever temptations you all have, preachers have the same temptations. Whatever struggles, challenges that the pew faces, Just because you're called by God does not mean you don't share those same struggles and challenges. It also does a disservice to the community when the pew is not vulnerable enough to admit its mistakes. It makes people think that you can live without error. But we cannot live without mistakes, which is why we need grace. Because grace covers every fault and every error and every mistake. And so it is vitally important that even we who stand behind what we call this sacred desk, that we must even admit our own failures and weaknesses. And if people love you, they will love you when you're up, and they will love you when you're down. Because real love is unconditional. You don't just love a person when they're right. You got to also love them in their wrong, because you can love them out of wrong into more right. And so it is critically important that we have accountability from the pulpit and the pew, so that we do not get beyond ourselves to the place where we are not integritous and live with honesty in front of our congregations. Amen, somebody. I have personal struggles, personal challenges, family drama, financial issues, bodily functions that give me trouble. I go through all of that, not just every now and then, but every week and sometimes every day of the week, and face temptations like everybody else. I got eyes, I got feelings, and stuff will rise up in me like they rise up in you. I can see something I like, and I have to pray not to lust over it. Help me, somebody. Just like you have to pray over your own issues. So don't ever think that we are any different than anybody else. We have our struggles and our problems and our weaknesses. And it is vitally important for you all to understand that we are not God. What I need to say to you today is that every person in here is a minister. And when we can begin to own ministry, whatever that is that God has given us, the word minister means to serve. And so everybody in here is called in some way, shape, form, or fashion to serve this present age, your calling to fulfill. We're all called to serve, and we're all ministers. On your home, in your home, on your job, in your community, when you say you're a child of God, you become a minister. Maybe not a preacher, but you are a minister. And you're called to serve. Every member of this church, you are a minister.